All right, it looks like we are live. This is Michael here. I'm with Nehring and Oakley. What's up, Nehring?
Not a whole lot of what's going on with you.
Oh, nothing. I just thought we'd watch some 1990 movies and talk about them a little bit. And what's up with Oakley?
It is a cold night up here in Kazakhstan, and you're not that far away, Michael, so I'm sure
Right.
probably not all that nice where you are either.
No, it's definitely looking very powdery and white out there, and it'll probably be very slippery as well. So we do not have that to look forward to.
Just a dusting, still a menace.
Right. Yeah. There's an eighth of an inch of snow somewhere in the city, so we better all stay home, says Texas. All right. So I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with us. You might have heard us on some podcasts together before, but we decided that we wanted to do something weird and different. So we're going to do a live commentary track for the 1990 classic Christmas film Home Alone. And it's going to be kind of scary. Actually, we're doing the first one here, not exactly live, just to see how it turns out, because, we don't want to be live if we totally embarrass ourselves. So we're going to try it this way. Anybody have anything else to say before we start?
I'm ready to start.
We're dreaming of a white Christmas.
I know I am.
All right. Well, okay, what we're going to do here, just to sync with each other, and if there's anybody out there who wants to sync our commentary track to the movie, we are starting from just the black screen right before the 20th Century Fox logo comes on, and we are going to start in 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going.
I have a logo.
I have that too.
This was the start of childhood joy for me. It's kind of sad now that Fox is being sold that we probably won't see that again.
That might be true. I don't know. Do you think they'll? Who are they being sold to?
Disney, I think, is buying them.
Well, Disney does keep the Lucasfilm logo on the new Star Wars movies, so maybe they'll keep the 20th Century Fox one, or do you think they'll get rid of that one?
Well, 20th Century Fox played before Star Wars as well, and they don't do that now. So that's why it was the soundtrack of my childhood, right? Like it would open with the fanfare, the 20th Century Fox fanfare, and then you would go into the Lucasfilm, and you were like, the closest, you came to an orgasm at 5 years old, right? Just the music hit, you're like,
for some time now, because we haven't been in the 20th century for 18 years.
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe they should be 21st Century Fox.
Did they change that to 20? I was wondering that. I can't remember. Did they ever change that to 21st, or is it still 20th?
I think it's still 20th the last time.
Isn't it just like Fox Entertainment now, though?
Yeah, I don't think they use it anymore, really.
I don't know.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, now we're getting on the front of this massive house of theirs with all those lights in the front yard.
This house, which I did the count, because in my memory there were multiple families getting ready for this holiday, but it's only 2 families. The one family has 5 children, and the one family has 6.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids. Well, I mean, by today's standards, it might be a lot of kids. It might have been normal in 1990. I don't remember that much about it then, about family sizes at that point.
I'm thinking back. I mean, by today's standards, that's a lot of house.
Yeah.
I don't know about back then. It still looks like a lot of house back then. That's a big house.
I don't know what any of these people do for a living, but the brother who just got transferred to France is apparently rich enough that he can fly 4 adults and 11 children to his apartment in France for a long weekend.
Yeah. They must have money. Well, one thing completely unrelated to that, really quick, I just want to insert. As soon as we saw Catherine O'Hara from the side, I thought it was Scully. What? Sorry.
And I have a great affinity for this movie. I used to watch it with my dearly departed dad, his sister, my mom. This used to be a Christmas movie for us. So it's a great movie. And this is not, despite what a lot of people thought, Macaulay Culkin's first big film. He had a big one before this.
Oh,
another great movie.
What was that?
Uncle Buck.
Oh,
it's a true classic. We should do that.
Wow.
We should do that one sometime.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what? It's been so long since I saw that movie that I didn't even remember Culkin being in it. Weird.
I would like to take a moment and raise a glass to John Hurd. Great guy, also dearly departed. And he and Catherine O'Hara were both in After Hours together.
Oh, they were? I knew Catherine O'Hara was, but I didn't know John Hurd was in that.
John Hurd is the bartender who Griffin Dunn keeps running into, and he wants to lend him the money, but he just found out that his girlfriend committed suicide, who is coincidentally the girl who Griffin Dunn came downtown to have a date with.
Right. Yeah, not to stray too far from the movie we're watching, but I always thought, what was strange about After Hours is with Martin Scorsese, I'm used to like mob movies. You know, what made him decide to do something like that? Is that normal for him? Am I the only one who's unaware of this other side that he has?
Well, he's branched out a little bit. I mean, remember, he's done Kundun and The Last Temptation of Christ. So After Hours isn't that much of a departure for him because at least it's New York based.
True.
But yeah, it was weird to see a movie that's literally about one guy on a bad date just trying to get home.
Right. It's like I expected to see, what did they call them back then? The Brat Pack? I expected those guys to show up in that movie.
Well, Cheech and Chong did.
Oh, you know, I don't remember them being in it. Which scene was that?
They're the guys at they're the burglars, and at the very end, when he's all wrapped up in a paper mache, they think that he's a priceless statue, and they steal him.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I saw that about a year ago for the first time, so that was my introduction. Back to this movie, though. One thing I wanted to point out at the beginning, I think we were already talking about something else, but I noticed something I had forgotten over time. The score was done by John Williams, who obviously is known for everything: Star Wars, Jurassic Park, E.T., Indiana Jones, pretty much every big budget movie made in the past 1,000 years has John Williams at least either scoring or directing or both.
And I want to come back to the score for a second and say that I watched this again today, you know, with the full intention to roll my eyes at it and sneer at it. But 18 years later, the music is 28 years later, the music is still one of the best parts about this movie. That little nice theme, the Somewhere in My Memory theme, and the fast-paced theme when they're running through the airport.
Agreed. That's something that to me was extremely magical about older movies, and maybe some of them now, but with older ones, they'd spend that extra money on an actually orchestrated score by a talented musician like John Williams, and that would be a huge part. It's almost like that was as important as the footage they were shooting, or maybe even more in some cases, to set the scene and the feeling of what's happening.
And while we were talking about the score, I let the first appearance of Buzz get past me. There's Buzz and Kevin's cousin, who is inexplicably Jewish looking, and Kevin, and they're all watching the old man next door, who they think is a serial killer.
Right. I love the story Buzz tries to give there, like something like he killed like everybody in the neighborhood, but somehow he's out of prison already and, you know, shoveling snow after killing hundreds of people somehow.
Right. And he's their next door neighbor. Wouldn't they see him in the summertime and the fall? I mean, this movie exists. You know, the world of the movie exists beyond just this week of Christmas.
Right. Like this is the first time they've ever like talked about him for some reason.
Right.
Even though he's there every day. You know what I found? This actually, I should bring this up later in the movie. But one thing I kind of noticed, I was watching this recently. I think there are actually some there's a parallel here, and maybe it's completely unintentional, and maybe it's not even as close as I think it is, but it made me start thinking of It's a Wonderful Life, because Kevin wishes his family away, and the next morning he's granted that wish to see what life would be like without them.
Ah,
Isn't that a lot of pizzas for kids?
Yeah.
But regardless, Joe Pesci's always great. We were talking about gangster stuff earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's funny that he's probably more known. I guess it'd be argumentative that you could argue it. I was going to say he's more known for his comedy stuff than his gangster movies.
Yeah.
But that's here and there, whether that's true. Well, I was going to note, John Williams actually wasn't even the first choice to score this movie.
Really? Who was it?
It was actually going to be Bruce Broughton, but he was too busy with doing The Rescuers Down Under and had to cancel. And Steven Spielberg got him John Williams.
Huh.
Got Christopher Columbus, John Williams to score this, which is magical. I mean, it worked out way better, than it possibly could have, right?
Definitely. One thing I thought, and maybe this is something that would have been explained prior to the opening scene of the movie, but one thing I thought was strange is that the cop, since you brought him up, the cop is just in the opening scene. He's already in their house, standing in, near the front door. Nobody appears to have let him in. He's just in their house magically, and nobody is talking to him. People are walking by and they just think it's normal to see a cop standing in the house and don't stop to ask what's going on. Everyone's just ignoring him. And even the owners, the parents, when they, the father sees him, he talks to him for 1 second and then just walks away. Oh, he's just part of the house. I mean, who acts like that when there's suddenly a cop in your house? Don't you try to figure out what's going on and why they're there? Maybe not.
Here's the great spilling incident.
Oh, yes.
I was just laughing. It culminates in John Hurd and Catherine O'Hara being surprisingly cool with another adult yelling at their kid.
Yeah.
I was going to say that, I mean, we probably all have siblings or friends that we fought with like this when we were kids.
Right.
My Christmases when I was a kid were 30 people in a room like this all the time.
Oh.
We didn't eat pizza. We were eating, Christmas dinner. But,
yeah. The thing that's especially fun about the kids fighting in this is that the parents are joining in and attacking their own kid.
Right.
And Buzz, of course, gets to look down his chubby nose.
Right.
And there's the cop just wandering around from room to room.
Yeah. Nobody questioning him or wondering why there's a cop in their house.
Well, it's free security, I guess, right?
Yeah. Free security from the fake cop.
I mean, I guess it kind of feeds into the idea that all the grown-ups in the house are very harried with getting ready for the trip, which segues into them being so hurried the next morning that they don't notice they're a kid short.
Yeah, I guess, that does kind of add to the fact that they're not very observant. Obviously, they're so non-observant that they didn't notice one of their kids missing until they were in another country or halfway there.
Although, spoiler, for anyone that hasn't seen it yet. Although I guess it is in the name.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's 28 years after the movie came out and you didn't figure out what happens in it, I guess that's our fault.
Yeah.
This would be a good time to point out that the cop isn't really a cop. He's
true.
a burglar disguised as a cop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and that's, all the more reason to not just pretend like a cop walking around your house is normal everyday a normal everyday thing. You kind of want to know who this stranger is dressed like a cop.
So is Kevin sleeping in the attic because he's punished? Because is this where the bedwetter was supposed to sleep too?
I think so.
Yeah. I do believe that's what's going on, because he does. I mean, I have the volume off because we're talking, but I believe that's what he says to his mom to try to get out of it. I don't want to sleep up there. He'll wet the bed or something to that effect.
Right.
And what a way to, I mean, this is almost like a parallel to the classic comedic horror trope of throwing the bad kid in the attic and nobody ever sees them again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's every kid had the dream of freedom for a little bit, and I guess we'll find out what it's like soon.
Yeah, that is a thing that happens here pretty quickly in the movie. We're watching what's happening overnight right now, but yeah, he does. Kevin gets to experience not only, like I said earlier, not only does he wish to never see or wish for his family to go away, and he gets that wish, but he also gets to figure out what it would be like to just be a kid with complete control over his house and not have anybody tell him what to do or what not to do, which is, I think, the dream of a lot of kids.
Now here's the Deus Ex Machina, the branch that hit the wires. So it not only cuts off the electricity, so no one's alarm clock goes off,
Right.
but it also, one branch hitting these wires is going to disable the phones in the neighborhood for several days thereafter.
Right. Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, why doesn't Kevin just call the police right away?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. They needed a reason to make it impossible for them to call him at the house, so they knocked out the entire neighborhood with one branch. Kind of like in a lot of modern movies, they always have to throw in something about cell towers not working in the area that they're in order to cause people to not be able to call the police.
Right.
And that's one of the weaknesses of modern movies, is that they haven't figured out all the MacGuffins yet.
Right.
Like it used to be that, okay, the phones were out, or this or that or the other thing, but now they have, with all the technology we have, it's hard to explain away some of the logic problems that occur, right? So
right. Yeah, so
this
they have
kid here has my favorite line in the movie when he waves and he says, "Bye-bye, bring me back something French."
Oh, yeah.
It's seeing everyone running around like a chicken with their head chopped off. That was always prep for the holiday trips for me. I also can sympathize with it quite a bit.
Right.
Like, why is this kid just playing around in the car?
I know. He's like pulling stuff out of boxes.
It's like the cop, right?
Yeah.
Like now, he's needed there because this is the logical explanation of why they're missing a kid, right?
And this is why the parents don't realize that he's not there, because they assume Kevin is in the other van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total logic, right?
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, maybe that explains it if they quote unquote thought he was in the other van, but it just seems strange to me that anybody would try to make sure their own kid was there simply by counting heads instead of actually looking for the kid.
I think the van part is explainable. Once they hit the airport, it seems like they notice that their son's not there.
Right.
Yeah, you would think, right? I mean, this part I get. Because, right, they're trying to lock up the house. They're trying to lock up the house, get everything set and out the door. So they said, hey, to the oldest kid, hey, count everyone, make sure we got what we need. But once you get out and you see everybody, yeah, you'd probably take a look for your kid once, right?
Once again, goes to the danger of having like 15 kids in one family.
Right.
You're expected to lose a few.
Yeah. Now the kid that they told to do the head count, what is he, a cousin or something, or just some other family, or what?
She's a cousin.
Yeah, she's the cousin, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess that might explain why the parents didn't, notice him when doing a head count, because they made some other stupid kid do it instead.
And then once they're on the flight, they're all first class, whereas the kids are,
In all candor, I can't attribute which kid to which family. I know Buzz and the girl with the braces who say, "You're a les incompetents."
Yeah.
They're Kevin's siblings. And then there's like two more. And I know for a fact that the older guy who looks Jewish and the kid who wets the bed are the cousins.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I can't tell you who's a sibling and who.
And the bedwetter is actually Macaulay's real life brother.
Oh, okay.
Kieran Culkin.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I know I used to hear his name as being in movies, but I don't think I really am familiar with him, the younger one. Okay, he wakes up. We're at the part where somehow it hasn't hit him yet. He woke up, he came downstairs, and none of the 30 people are there. Now, okay, he's starting to look confused now. Now it might start to hit him.
Nah. He's just having breakfast. He's
just like I'm sorry, go ahead.
He's just taking in the room, and now, I guess.
Yeah.
It's have to be pretty terrifying, right, for a kid, but with the night he had, I guess she's a little.
He's not awake. He's not awake yet.
Yeah. Now it's funny, just looking at his hair right there when he quote unquote had just woken up and came downstairs. It kind of reminded me, if you've seen, over the years, lately we've seen Macaulay Culkin, as the adult with long hair and leather jackets and everything. But recently he cut his hair and he looks a lot now like he did as a kid. He has pretty much the same haircut now that he had just there in that kitchen scene.
He's looking healthier now. He had a couple of years there where he looked bad, and there were rumors that it was drug use and that, but I think it was more just he went through a lot of stuff. He lost a sister in an accident, and his parents went through a divorce where they tried to steal all his money. It's a tough life to go through, right? Although he did have the benefit of dating Mila Kunis for 6 of those years. So,
that's
so he had that going for him.
That's a bonus, yeah.
So that might have been okay.
Yeah. Now I don't really know. Maybe I don't pay attention because I don't care, but I don't really know that he's had any. Obviously family troubles and stuff like you're just talking about, but I don't know that he's ever had a drug problem or anything. Yeah, I hear the media do as the media does. They always refer to child actors as troubled former child actor, regardless of who it is. So I've heard them say that, but I don't really know if there was anything like that. Like, was he an alcoholic, or was he into cocaine?
They alluded to it, but he says no, and frankly, might as well believe him. He's been pretty open book otherwise.
Yeah,
the basements were always terrifying as a kid, weren't they?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and this reminds me of something actually Nehring brought up yesterday, which we'll bring up again probably during this, but that scene right there, in addition to some other stuff, that reminds me of Nightmare on Elm Street. That happens in Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, they go down in the cellar or the basement of the whatever the building is, or I don't know if it's their house or some other building. And you have that furnace or whatever it was. That looks very menacing. It looks like it's going to come and grab the kid. And that's what just happened.
The kid born in a barn, he just left the door open.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's how the cop got in.
There you go.
It's like Michael Myers. That's how he gets in. You just leave the door open by accident.
Yeah. Do you want Michael Myers in your house? Because that's how Michael Myers gets in your house. Close the door.
Close the door.
It's that simple. Yeah, I guess we're finding out that he's almost as non-observant as the rest of his family is here. Leaving the doors open and taking so long to figure out that they're not actually there.
Until the time comes for him to set up this series of Rube Goldberg death trap.
Yeah.
Then he's very attentive to detail.
Yeah, and I think we literally just hit the part where he suddenly realized that they were gone, because now he's jumping all over beds and running around the house doing everything a kid would want to do if he didn't have anybody to tell him not to.
We'd all be excited like this as a kid, right?
Oh, definitely.
At least for a couple hours, when total freedom. Eat anything you want, do anything you want.
I think I think he just broke into Buzz's stash and found a Playboy. I don't even remember seeing that originally. Okay, he's finding the fireworks now. He's going to blow stuff up, apparently.
All the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Don't touch.
Oh, no. Here's something that they'd get attacked for now.
Here comes the best uncredited actress in this movie, Buzz's girlfriend.
Yes. and Kevin says, "Oof! What do you call her? A dog or a woof woof or
Woof,
something?
yeah.
Woof." Yeah.
If you wondered what kind of girl would cozy up to Buzz, there's your answer, folks.
Yeah. And now here he is doing something else that would get them in a lot of trouble today, using a gun.
First he's fat shaming, and now this. Oh my God!
Now he's promoting gun culture. Yeah. Oh, look at that awesome mess. They just, well, I guess that makes sense that they woke up late because, miraculously the branch knocked out all the electricity or something. But they left all that food all over.
He breaks out the VCR. He's going to watch the classic movie.
Because that's what 8-year-olds are into.
Right.
Classic
Film noir movies. Is big with the 8-year-olds.
Come on, People with Filthy Souls. It's awesome. We all watched black and white movies when we were kids, but it was like Bela Lugosi and all that junk, right?
Right. Oh, and there he is with the greatest meal ever invented by a kid. I think it's a plate covered in ice cream and marshmallows and every non-good thing you can find piled on top of each other.
Now, does anyone know what movie this is supposed to be a takeoff of?
No. I do not.
It's starring James Cagney and Pat O'Brien. It's Angels with Dirty Faces.
Really?
Yeah. Now, they filmed this in a day or something like that. They filmed all these little vignettes. It's a takeoff of it, but
right.
Watch the movie you're not allowed to watch, right? As a kid, that's all you wanted. Why can't I watch it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Mary, he does as his parents taught him to cover his eyes when he sees this stuff.
The kid who is a perfect marksman with those dolls is suddenly afraid of a black and white depiction of a guy getting shot.
Yeah.
Well, he's a responsible gun owner. He would never actually shoot anyone.
That's right.
There you go. Yeah, see, he's actually an NRA member. Oh, now we're on the plane where they're wondering what's wrong.
Nobody's angel. Read something better.
Oh, was that the book she was reading?
He was reading.
Oh, he. Okay.
His dad was.
I see.
Oddly enough, in my research, I found out they did a novel adaptation of this movie as well, which seems an odd choice. It's not a. It doesn't lend itself to that.
Yeah, I think that about a lot of movies. I don't know why they do so many novelizations of films instead of the other way around. Like even like the new Halloween movie has a novelization. Like, what's the point of that?
I actually have the novelizations of the first two Halloween movies.
Oh, really? What do you think of them?
I mean, they're as fun as it can be to read a slasher movie.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The slashers have to be visual. Uh-oh, here's Kevin inventing a show which would later be called Jackass on MTV. He's taking a sled down his stairs.
And they do so much to make this look epic. Like, he's going down a 20-foot thing of stairs, and he catches air for like a second, but there's the slow-mo shot right there.
I would totally do this as a kid. In fact, I did. There was a ravine near my friend's house. It was like 50 feet straight down, and we're talking like big tall trees on both sides of the path. And we would go down this thing and nearly kill ourselves. And in fact, one of my friends actually broke his leg, and we had to carry him out of the ravine to his house so he could go to the hospital. And we went back the next day.
Oh my God. Same kid with the broken leg came back?
No, he didn't. He couldn't, but the rest of us did.
Well, that was very nice of you as kids to actually take him home. A lot of kids would just get scared and run because they didn't want to get in trouble.
Oh, we're good Catholic school kids, right? So we carried him out.
Right.
Now, these guys are great. Now, I had to run a theory earlier. We were talking about how, the house is a lot of house, right? And
Yeah.
what these guys do for money. I think that the father is actually a crime lord.
Oh.
And these guys are just out to, they're making the excuse of robbing the neighborhood so they can get at the crime lord.
Right.
There's a payback or something happening.
Maybe.
It's a lot of subtext.
Well, I mean that with Joe Pesci being part of it, it's kind of logical that would be true.
Now, here's what I don't get. He knows what time all the lights are going to go on in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And we're left to assume that that's by virtue of him going from house to house disguised as a cop.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they all go on within seconds of each other. So it's not like they're set at different times. It's not like he knows this house goes on at 7, this house goes on at 7:30. Clearly, they're all set for the same time. How did he know each house's clock was 1 minute slow or 1 minute fast?
It's a lot of work he put in.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see him asking the owner, what time do you have your lights set for? Oh, 7. But how would he know with the kind of precision that he displays there that this homeowner is 30 seconds behind the guy across the street?
Yeah. And this is pre-cell phone times, so it's not like they all have a dedicated unit that's all set remotely that they can set all their home clocks to.
Right.
Yeah. That's a really good point. It'd be really hard to synchronize those without him actually going and, looking at their actual devices that they have set.
Which maybe he could have, because he had full run of the entire house while he was in there.
So, I mean, if he was able to have that full run of the house in every single house on the block, which you'd have to have a bunch of confused people not caring that there's a cop walking around their house in every single house on the block.
Both of these guys are amazing. Daniel Stern should have gotten more work.
Yeah,
for sure. And Joe Pesci, of course, he's a legend. But
I would almost say that these guys could have been like one of the classic comedy duo, the legends. Like why am I drawing a blank? There's several of them. Name one off, somebody.
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, absolutely. Abbott and Costello. That type of duo. I think they could have been like that if they wanted to start making more movies based off of these guys, which they should have.
Well, it's the classic comedy trope, too, of having the littler guy be the boss and the taller guy be the big dumb one.
Right. Which, again, is Abbott and Costello.
We were talking about how, he was fat shaming earlier and things like that. I remember I got flack once for trying to explain why the straight man made more money in comedy. And I was trying to there's a dude that's literally called in the straight man in the act.
Yeah.
Like it's not straight or gay. I don't know if he was or not, but
yeah,
so silly. That's where we are as a society now.
Yeah.
Now, this is the only part in the movie, not just this scene, there's a couple of follow-up scenes to it that I find unbelievable. It's not believable to me that after hours of calling, they can't find some family member or friend who lives close that can run over and check on Kevin or at least take him home to stay. They explain in the way, the phone just rang, or they must be out shopping, or no one leaves a message, no one leaves a voicemail saying, hey, call this number as soon as you can. Kevin's home alone.
Yeah. Not only that, and this hasn't really been presented yet, but when she calls, I mean, she's calling people on the block or family members right now, but when she's calling the cops, the police just don't even care. Like that there's a 7-8-year-old kid by himself. Typically not only would they care and they'd go over there, but they'd charge the family with a crime for leaving him there.
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah, now you get charged for letting your kid go play in the park.
It's going to go from the dispatcher to the child welfare worker back to the dispatcher, whose solution is send a cop out to knock. Here they are. Send a cop out to knock on the door until he gets bored.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I although in the defense of this movie, I actually caught someone robbing my house while I was home. I was in the basement watching TV, and I heard a little ruckus, and I ran upstairs, not because of the little noise I heard. I was actually going to check my calendar to see if I was available to do something. And there's a dude going through stuff in my living room. Wow. And so I took him down, and I had my neighbor call 911, and 911 told them I had to call. As God is my witness, I am not lying. She came back and she's like, they said you had to call. And I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm trying to keep the guy passive, you know?
Yeah.
Did you have time to set up a bunch of Rube Goldberg?
I did not. Thankfully, I was able to take him down still.
Yeah. So I apparently your local police think it's okay to break into a house as long as it's not the homeowner calling.
I have no idea what the hell is going on.
Wow.
I would love to have been able to question that person. It would have been funny.
Yeah. You have their name? Let's get them on here right now to talk to them. All right. Scully here is still on the phone.
Well, she's interfering with, wrapping Christmas presents. You only have so much time in a day, right?
Right. I mean, when else is a police officer supposed to wrap Christmas presents while they're at work?
Yes.
Here this guy comes out. He knocks on the door 3 times.
Yeah.
And says, everything checks out. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Remember, he's been told there's an unattended child in this building.
Right.
And his training should tell him the kid's not going to answer the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell her to count her kids again.
Right.
This is all a load of crap. I'm going home. I got stuff to do.
Not only that, whether the kid answers or not, there's a kid there home by himself. I mean, you'd think the police would take him into custody or take him to some other relative's place or something.
Right.
Or would at least want to.
But apparently every relative this family has is in France.
Yeah. True. Or they're not answering their wall phones at home with the 20-foot curly cord on it.
Does it seem that John Hurd throughout this movie is much less concerned about Kevin than Catherine O'Hara is?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's just another mouth to feed, right? So he's, if we lose one, we lose one.
Or I think maybe it has something to do with the fact that he seems like he's kind of afraid of his wife, so he just lets her do the raging, and he kind of backs off a bit to not upset her, maybe.
Right.
We saw Buzz vamping in the background there for a second.
Vamping? What was he doing? I missed it.
He was playing with his hair, doing something weird. I was trying to make it out in the background.
Okay.
I think he was just hamming it up. But
yeah. Oh, and here's Kevin trying to act like an adult, combing his hair. And he's gonna try and shave. And I'm gonna get a couple seconds ahead here, but we all know the Brute scene. He puts the Brute on. Yeah.
Why would you do this more than once? He does it here, and I get it. But as we're going to see, he keeps doing it.
Right.
That's what you do. Yeah. Although, what's funny, I remember as a kid, everyone's dad had Brute, didn't they? It was like the only thing that they sold for men, I think, at one point. I was cleaning recently, and I found an old dusty bottle of Brute that my dad had.
Yeah.
Great stuff. I'm shocked that they actually still make it. I didn't even know they did.
Yeah.
I saw it on a shelf somewhere.
Speaking of shelves, Kevin just broke all of them by climbing to the top, and as we'll soon see, released a tarantula. He broke everything. And he's alive somehow. With the boards on top of his head. Oh, but he found Buzz's money.
Which explains how he has money to get around and buy things at the stores.
Yeah. Stolen from Buzz.
Kids got to eat, right?
Yeah.
When you think about it, Buzz really is the victim of this movie.
Could be. And was that I think that was a Toronto Blue Jays card that he had in there.
Oh, so they're
I
actually
could have been wrong, but the baseball card, I think it was Toronto Blue Jays, but who knows?
Yeah. What do they ever address what town they're supposed to live in here? I don't recall.
I think it's supposed to be Chicago, or it's a suburb of.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think of where it was.
You know, you're right. It's definitely Chicago, because when Catherine O'Hara is making all the noise about getting back, she's talking about flights to Chicago.
Oh, okay.
It's probably a suburb of Chicago, I imagine, because all like John Hughes movies in general were Illinois based. Sherman, Illinois, I think it was. I'd have to look to be reminded, but.
And here we have Daniel Stern, the Stan Laurel of the group, wearing a piece of scuba gear while stealing things. Makes perfect sense.
You really are one of the legendary cat burglars.
He's setting up the fact that they're the wet bandits.
Yeah. Oh, right. Pesci doesn't care about that, but he's really trying to push it.
If we've seen all the houses they robbed, there's one where Daniel Stern is wearing flippers. There's one where he's in a Speedo.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, this lady's a bitch.
Yeah. Here's Kevin trying to buy things without having to explain why there's no adult with him.
Which technically would solve the whole movie. If he wasn't so secretive about the fact that he's home alone, someone would take him into care and get in touch with his parents.
Right. It's like it would totally save the day, but he's thinking he's going to get in trouble, so he won't.
Now, as a kid, I couldn't understand fully why this was such a big deal, because as a kid, I went to the store. I would go to the store to buy cigarettes for my mother. Because back then you could.
Yeah.
Right? But so the fact that he's going to buy a toothbrush or a couple other things, why are you bothering him?
Like what?
Knowing what we know about this guy later, why in the fuck is he glaring at Kevin like this?
He's probably fucking with him. Because he knows he's scared of him.
Nice, sad old man, but in this scene, he's glaring at an 8-year-old.
Well, he probably saw that Kevin was, at least that's my theory, he saw that Kevin was scared of him, so he's playing it up.
Although, you know what, the soundtrack kind of makes part of it seem more menacing as well.
Right.
And that's what a great soundtrack does, right? It elicits emotion.
Right.
But unfortunately, now soundtracks don't do that often.
Now here comes another scene that looks much more epic than it is. Kevin's going to slide on his knees on the ice for about 15 feet, and it's going to look so epic. He's going through people. He's going for 35, 40 seconds. He slid 15 feet on his knees.
Right.
Yeah, because you see the rink before he goes in, right? Yeah. And maybe it's 30 feet, but still, it's not far.
Right. And of course, just like any good criminal does, he leaves the cop laying on the ground as he flees for his life.
Right. And now he's racked with guilt.
Yeah. Just to get a toothbrush, that whole thing.
Why'd that woman have to mess with me? And then the weird neighbor dude.
Right. He's
what exactly was wrong with his toothbrush?
I think the parents packed it up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Right, because they're all going away.
Right. Yeah, it does make sense that his toothbrush would not be unpacked the night before. Back into the criminal van with boarded up windows. It's like plywood over the windows or whatever that is. Oh, and Stern has his collection of snow globes going on here.
I never even saw that before.
Me either, till just now.
Egg McMuffin wrap in the window. Old school Egg McMuffin wrap.
Yeah. That's not nearly as bad as Nehring's window, though. Have you ever seen all the paperwork he has on his window? Or at least on his dash? I've seen photos. It's quite a sight.
This is true.
Oh, here they almost kill Kevin by running into him, and he just stands there 2 inches away as they finally hit the brake.
I think he has superpowers like Ty Rock from the Legion of Superheroes. He can scream a wall of sound, right?
Oh, okay.
He can, that's how he stopped the van, but with the scream.
Canary cry.
Yes.
Oh, he recognizes the bad guy from his shiny gold tooth.
Yeah.
You know what I thought was funny here is Daniel Stern, the way he talks to him. He's trying to be cool to the kid, but he says, "Hey kid, Santa Claus don't come to the morgue," or something like that. Like, how would you say that?
Great name for a movie.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let me write that down. We'll produce that later.
It should have been the name of this movie, maybe.
Yeah. They're trying to pretend like, even though obviously they're following him in a van, like they're just looking around like, what are you looking at?
They're whistling.
Yeah, like he's gonna hear him.
We left that driveway to go park 5 feet up the road.
This is the comedic version of Michael Myers following Laurie Strode in Halloween, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But what is the line? Kevin now hates guys in cars with no sense of humor or something.
Yeah. Hey, jerk! Speed kills.
Yeah.
Here's another thing I don't get. These are all statues, clearly, right? Or if not statues, figures carved out of wood or plastic or what have you.
Yep.
And yet, as we're going to see in a minute, there's a spare robe
lying around, right?
That's true, yeah.
A spare robe and whatever it is, a pitchfork or a rake or whatever.
Right. Yeah, like there just happened to be one of those with all the stone and wooden structures and statues around.
They're all carved out of something, but they just happen to have a spare robe, whatever you call that thing, a shepherd's hook.
Yeah, right.
A crook or whatever. I think it's called a crook.
Yeah.
That was a lucky break for Kevin.
Without that, I mean, hell, that could have been trouble.
Okay. Well, it's like when you're E.T. and someone's coming in the bedroom, you have to hide. There just happens to be like 50 stuffed animals in the corner, so you can hide amongst those, you know.
When you're E.T. or Frank Reynolds.
Yeah.
Again, he had in Chicago back in the 90s. I mean, he had to be a crime lord. Look at the size of the house.
Huge. It's a huge house.
Well, you know what this part reminds me of? Have you ever seen Steve Martin in the movie The Lonely Guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he lives in this like New York apartment in a high rise, and there's apparently a Lonely Guy store in the city. He goes there and he buys all these like cardboard cutouts and sets them like in front of the windows so it looks like he's having a party.
Right.
And that's what Kevin's doing right now to fool he has like mannequins and stuff. He's moving around in front of the windows to make the bad guys think there are a bunch of people there.
Well, and all these figures that are moving completely lifelike, while the guy who's holding the strings is just jerking around spasmodically.
Yeah, he's like dancing or something.
And also, remember, he didn't know when they were coming. Now, he can look out the window and see that they're leaving. Right. He didn't know when they were coming. So has he been doing this shit for hours?
Right.
I would suggest so.
Yeah. Oh, we get to see a couple seconds of It's a Wonderful Life here.
In France.
Yeah. Because that's what they watch in France.
C'est la vie est wonderful. I like this uncle because he's such a jerk. Like he says the wrong thing, and the shrimp is meant for tomorrow, and he's just doling it out.
Right.
It's just a total dick.
Yeah.
And we never want to see the brother who owns this fucking apartment.
Yeah. I know. Is this actually an apartment they're in?
Yeah.
I think they must be at the brothers. There'd be no reason for them to rent a hotel room.
Right.
Pretty crazy hotel. Again, he could be a crime boss, but
yeah.
But if it's his brother, it's like, I had dinner planned for tomorrow, but you mother fuckers. Yeah.
Right.
And now all the stores are closed. Good for you.
Now this girl is one of the siblings, so I think I've identified a couple of the siblings now.
Mm-hmm.
because she knows Kevin and she's worried about Kevin. So that's her, Buzz, the girl with the braces, Las Incompetents, and Kevin. There's one last sibling I can't put my finger on.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's gonna bug me though for the whole movie.
Yeah.
I'm figuring out the lineage of the McAllister family.
And I love that Buzz is upset because he's not that lucky that Kevin would die.
Yeah. And I love what we're watching right now. The pizza guy, both times he's come, he runs right into that lawn statue both times and knocks it over.
Right.
Like he didn't learn after the first.
Guy is about to think he's being shot at. And he's apparently cool with just leaving at that point. He doesn't go and report to a police officer.
Yeah.
Hey, the guy who's on Garden Lane just tried to kill me.
Right.
He just goes back to work. That's all in a day's work for whatever it is, little Tony's pizza place.
Right.
Well,
yeah, I did find it funny the cops never show up.
He got a good tip. So he's cool with it.
He got a $2 tip.
Yeah.
Hey, back in the 90s, that was a lot.
All in a day's work for Little Nero's Pizza. A day we don't get shot at is not a day at all.
A day that we actually get a tip on top of not getting shot, that's like the best day ever.
Yeah.
How can you beat that?
Or maybe because this is the guy who was here the night before, maybe he assumes the cops are already inside the house.
There you go. Yeah. Like, oh, the cop just lives here. Which, yeah, that reminds me at the beginning when he first sees the cop and he's standing inside the door as well, trying to get paid for the pizza. He asks the cop if he lives there. And he says no. Then he said, oh, you're just visiting for the holidays? Yeah, because a cop dresses up as a cop to go visit his relatives for the holidays.
I also want to talk about Kevin's unbelievable ability to be 100% precise, getting to exactly the right line of dialogue he needs on a goddamn VCR.
Right. Just forwarding and rewinding whenever needed at the exact right spot.
Yeah.
Right.
Back and forth, eh?
Yeah. In this, well, we're not watching the second one, but in the second one, he uses that like voice recorder that changes his voice.
Yeah.
To do the same
Right.
thing.
Now I love this. This woman has been explained that her son is at home alone and in danger.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, so she's going to give us this, and this. Do you think we should give her a chance? Do you think we should give her the ticket so that she can go home and save her son?
Right.
Nope.
You got to throw a little sweet note on top.
Yeah. Like the guy doesn't care. I mean, the woman seemed like she was sympathetic, but the husband is like, no, we don't care about her kid who's going to die.
Right.
Oh, she was going over what she was getting. She was looking for the money.
The husband's like, don't bilk or we don't need the shit. And then I think it's the husband who caves when Catherine O'Hara starts bawling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That may be true. Whose bed is Kevin using right now? I venture that is not his room. What's that?
I think it's
got to be the parents. Oh, there's the fifth sibling is that redheaded guy who says, Kevin, you're such a disease. That's the fifth sibling.
Oh, okay.
Now I can sleep tonight.
I'm trying to remember when Johnny Carson retired.
Yeah,
it was
when
like
was that?
1994. I want to say 93, 94.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. He was on forever.
Now here he's gonna put the fucking brood on again.
after learning of the horror the first time, he does it again.
He did it yesterday.
Yeah.
It ain't no different, Kevin.
Well, when you're a grown-up, it's what you do.
Yeah. I guess he just thinks that since he's in charge of the house now, no family there, that he has to do the grown-up things, which this is one of them.
And he's not even wincing. He's not even like, oh, I know this is going to hurt. It's like he's completely forgotten.
Well, he's been through a lot. He just killed a cop yesterday. Now he's grocery shopping. I like that they actually have garland hung up in the cold aisle here, the cheese aisle or whatever it is.
Nice.
Like next to the floor.
Yeah, it's like almost brushing the floor.
But he's evolved. Now he's smarter. He understands, he has to go shopping, and he's got his scam worked out, as we're about to see.
Yeah.
He's got it all figured out.
Once again, another helpful stranger who could have resolved the entire movie.
Right. Kid here with a basket full of groceries. He's going to pay me cash for it, and I'm not going to alert any authorities at all.
Now, the part that throws me, the kid's going to do laundry?
Yeah.
Right. Like he cares.
Or why is it so weird that the kid's buying toys? She side-eyes him because he's buying toys. Oh, it's for the kids. That's the part that blows the whole scam.
It's like she believed he was an adult up until she saw the toys.
Right.
He's casually looking through a magazine at the checkout.
My mother's in the car. She sent me in to do all her shopping. She's drunk.
Yeah. Is that what he tells her? I don't remember.
No, I made up the drunk part.
Oh, okay. Just the drunk
my
part.
mom's in the car.
Oh, okay. Now he's walking home. It looks like he has. Oh, I was going to say, it looks like he has a lot less in those bags than he had in that cart.
And then they break.
Yeah. And he dumps detergent all over his hand while doing the laundry. But yeah, not only with what you were saying about why would a kid care about laundry, I'm shocked that he's even bathing while there aren't any adults around. Kids just don't even care unless they're told to.
And here's the end of the furnace arc.
Yeah, here's where he kills Freddy Krueger. The first time, at least. Yeah, suddenly he's not scared anymore.
Yeah, it's not much of a payoff.
Yeah, because now he's an adult. And it'd be nice if it, as the furnace was dying, if it, shot out flames at him or something.
If the kid got incinerated.
Movie over.
Catherine O'Hara comes back on Christmas morning to this unspeakable tragedy. The whole family shows up 30 seconds later, and she's like, "Get a load of this shit."
And then the criminals are sitting there laughing with them. Ah.
And Buzz doesn't give a fuck.
No kidding. Buzz spits on him as he walks by.
Kevin's covered head to toe in third-degree burns.
Oh.
What's this supposed to do? Him putting his foot through the dog door?
I don't know. Maybe just trying to see if a dog was going to come out of it. I don't know.
Naturally, Kevin has the movie queued up right where he needs it to be.
Let's see. I forget. What does Kevin do here? He's got the chair. Ooh, getting some cookware.
Oh, I remember. He's going to put fireworks by the door so that the gunfire sounds even more proximate.
Ah, okay. Okay, yeah. That's exactly what he's doing. You're right.
Change, you filthy animal.
Yeah. I love the well, again, this is in the second movie that we're not watching right now, but I love the variation they did on that scene in the second movie. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Yeah. I love that everyone who dives away from the gunfire goes into the trash cans. No one dives any other direction but diagonal.
Yeah. And apparently Kevin just keeps setting it back up every time someone falls over it. No, what I haven't seen this. You know what? When I watched this earlier, I think this is the point where I got distracted or didn't end up finishing it from this point. So I'm kind of at a loss as to what's happening
Daniel
here.
Stern's all freaked out from the gunplay, and Joe Pesci is skeptical. And Joe Pesci wants to hang out and see Daniel Stern thinks it was a mob hit in the house, and Joe Pesci wants to hang out and see who comes out of the house. So if they ever get busted for the burglaries, they can put the finger on this guy.
Ah. So he wants to wait around and maybe get killed, so he'll have someone else to blame.
Pretty much. And there's no payoff to that scene ever because we cut to the plane landing.
Yeah, yeah. Here's Scully again complaining to the airline.
There are no available flights to Chicago.
Yeah.
So she's going to have to ride in a truck with John Candy.
Yeah. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, pretty much.
Canada's own John Candy. He's a hero. He also has a connection to Macaulay Culkin's big debut, Uncle Buck, right?
Right,
oh,
right.
There you go. There you go.
So it's the dearly departed, and we lament the loss of John Candy. He was a great comedic icon.
Yeah.
But we haven't met him yet. Should be just a couple seconds, and we'll.
Oh, we see him in the background, though. He's got that nice yellow jacket on. He sees that there's trouble, decides to try and help.
It's tough to miss one of the Polka Kings, right?
Right. the world famous Polka Kings, direct from Canada,
with their #1 hit, Polka Polka Polka.
Yeah. And the sequel to that hit, Polka 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 Polka.
I would also point out that I don't know what's going on in France right now, but the idea of phoning neighbors has just been dropped.
Right.
Like, I understand this is before cell phones. I get that. But you would think every time you hit a lull, you'd be hitting the payphones again.
Yeah. Right. Try and get a hold of someone. Do they the one thing I'd question about that is, do they have all their neighbors' phone numbers?
Nah. Well, the blonde aunt had a book at one point that I believe was Catherine O'Hara's address book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then.
And back then, you were more neighborly. These days, a lot of people don't never talk to their neighbor, but back then you used to.
Right. I think the more digitally advanced we get, the less we talk to people in our actual vicinity and in all situations, including neighbors. Like now, you don't even want people to come to your door without texting you first to let you know.
Right.
Because if they do, you think it's someone trying to break in.
God damn it! Why are you calling me?
Right.
Text me, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I don't actually have to use my voice to acknowledge you.
We're gonna go rent a van. You want to travel with a bunch of fat, sweaty dudes?
Don't worry, we won't rape you.
There's no Me Too stuff gonna happen here. we cool.
Yeah. Don't believe that Steve Martin movie. I didn't rape him either, no matter what he says.
He was just a mild digital insertion.
Oh, I guess there was a payoff. They waited all night to see who came out of the house. So
they're
this is
asleep.
Kevin, and this is where Joe Pesci puts it together. We've been getting scammed by a kid,
and only because of the fact that he decides to go out and cut down a Christmas tree.
Yeah,
right.
I like that. That Pesci just happened to wake up when he came out to cut a Christmas tree down.
Right. That was good luck.
Yeah. All right. So,
Daniel Stern just looks so awesome.
Yeah.
How did he not get? I know he's done other stuff, and I've enjoyed pretty much anything he's done, but I just don't understand how he didn't get more roles.
He was big right up through 90, let's say 93, 94, because he was wasn't he in Diner?
I think so. He's also an Angel in the Outfield, I think, or Angels in the Outfield.
And of course, he did the City Slickers movies, but after that, he just kind of faded out.
Yeah.
Well, he's the voice. Isn't he? I never saw the show, but isn't he the voice of the older Fred Savage character in The Wonder Years?
Yep. Yeah, he was.
I did not know that.
And here they we're starting to ramp up to the big events of the movie.
Yeah.
And
they figured it out.
We've got it all figured out. We're going to get this.
And they announced their plans right by the open window.
Yeah, let's go stand next to the house and talk about it.
I have to give the movie props for Deus Ex Machina that they explain. Like, it's like a bus driving through orange cones. They explain every single thing that you might ask yourself later. How did he know when they were coming? Well, because he heard them right outside his window.
Yeah, they decided to go stand next to the window. He just opened it at that point and heard it.
Right.
Now, here's the other part. Like, and this is why I had that silly theory that it's a crime boss and it was a hit out on him. Okay, sure, it's only a kid that's home, but there's still somebody home.
Yeah.
You know, like they're still going to come back for stuff. Like you can ransack the rest of the neighborhood. Why are you going to go to the one house where you know, even though it's only a kid, there is somebody home?
Well, they do explain it. They say there's a euphemism they use for the house. They call it the big pearl or the blue pearl or the blue oyster. This is the gem on the street that attracted Joe Pesci to the street in the first place.
And here we find out how wise Kevin is. He knows it's not the real dude.
Yeah.
It's just a dude that works for him. And he's cool with that. He just needs to pass along a message.
And I'll give props to the guy who plays Santa here. Because it would have been very easy to have it be a teenage Santa who's bored, doesn't want to be bothered with the kid. But the Santa goes out of his way here to give Kevin a Santa Claus experience.
Yeah.
Throws the cigarette out, blows the smoke away.
Yeah, he even tried to hide the fact that he had a cigarette from the kid.
Right.
And he's not even on duty right now. This is like outside of the building.
Right. Listens to all the insane shit coming out of the kid's mouth right now. Yeah, I'll get the message. You want your family back. I'm not going to ask any follow-up questions, but I'll get the message.
Right.
I'm not going to bother checking in to see if maybe I should get you some help.
Right. I've never seen like an actual like a little house structure for like Santa's whatever workshop or whatever you want to call it, where people are coming up to go inside and talk to Santa like this. I've only seen it in malls. Is this something that actually exists in real life? Is this
There's
next
one
to
in
houses?
Baltimore every year. There's one down at the Inner Harbor.
Oh, okay.
It's like a glass structure with lights. I mean, it comes down as soon as Christmas is over.
I mean, it looks cool to me. It's something I would go to if I were a kid.
Yeah, it is.
Gives them some Tic Tacs.
Here, have some Tic Tacs. It tastes just like candy canes.
Yeah.
I love that he's in like a total POS car.
Now this
I love that the license plate is hanging off the fucking front of the car.
Nice.
Hey, Santa can be down on his luck.
Well, apparently this car's not going to start.
What did we interrupt you saying there, Oakley? You were saying something.
I said Santa can be down on his luck. Now, this was the highest grossing live action comedy of all time at one point.
Really?
And adjusted for inflation, it's still the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time.
Wow.
So it was a part of everyone's childhood watching this.
Yeah.
We can all sympathize with different portions of the movie for sure. Looking on and seeing everyone else have Christmas fun while you may not be.
Yeah. Just like in It's a Wonderful Life and in A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. This is actually a trilogy. It's a Wonderful Life, A Christmas Carol, and Home Alone. You're seeing the same kind of situation with each main character.
Hey, I remember that manger scene. They've got blankets in there.
Yeah, where's the blanket now? I don't see it. Is it back on the carrot?
They fold it up and put it in the back.
There you
in
go.
case any other kid needs it.
Yeah. All right.
Now here's where it gets a little weird. Not going to church. Church is fine, but
okay.
It's where he meets and befriends the shovel strangler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still no help.
Yeah.
Right?
Nobody
in the church. Yeah.
No, like nobody, like he's explaining to Like, wouldn't the neighbor know that, hey, I haven't seen a friggin' adult there in 4 days or whatever it's been?
Yeah.
And here's the kid. Here's my next door neighbor kid at church on Christmas Eve by himself.
Yes, by himself, right?
Alluding heavily to the fact that his parents are not around.
Yeah.
And as we'll see later, the neighbor clearly watches as a van pulls up to his house and two men are spending an inordinate amount of time going around the perimeter of his house trying to get in.
Yeah.
Right.
And he doesn't get involved until Kevin comes over to a neighbor's house.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, again, in the movie's defense, this was in the day when kids were allowed to go to the local park by themselves.
Right.
Without criminal charges. So
True, yeah. I was going to point out, this seems like whatever suburb of Chicago they're in, this seems like a very nice town to live in because there are all these things going on. There's the Santa house he was just at. There's an open church that just has a choir going to town and people can walk in, hang out if they want. Like, there's all kinds of things for this kid to do without his parents being around.
The old man says, I'm tired of this glaring shit. Let's introduce ourselves.
Right. I'm sick of scaring you. Now I'll talk to you.
And I'll open up about my family problems. I'm estranged from my adult son.
Right. My son hates
myself to talk to him.
Yeah. Because I used to stare at him weirdly in stores. And plus, he thought I killed the whole neighborhood that one time.
Right.
Like, and again, Kevin knows that the bad guys are coming tonight. Doesn't say a word. Because you know what? He's a fucking Mac daddy. He's ready to kill them. He's got the plan.
Yeah.
Well, and he knows that they're coming at 9 o'clock. And as we're about to see, he waits until the very last minute and then puts all this Rube Goldberg shit together in an hour. He could have been spending the entire day fortifying the house.
Right.
Just think of what he could have done to them. Could have murdered.
And of course, the logical thing, 911. I've got guys coming to my house at 9 o'clock tonight.
Are the phones still down?
Well, even if that neighborhood is down, I mean, he's going block to block here, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, he ordered pizza somehow, so maybe the phones are working.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. How the fuck did he order pizza if the phones are down?
He definitely didn't go online.
Yeah.
If he ordered pizza, why couldn't his fucking mother call him?
Yeah, this was before the advent of online ordering, where you, oh my God, had to actually talk to people.
Yeah. You have to actually hear voices.
Terrible stuff.
That's going to bug me now. How the fuck did he order the pizza?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he had to have. He had to have called. Either that, or he walked by the pizza joint on the way home, ordered it for tonight.
Yeah.
That's the only way, pre-ordered.
So he was okay with going to the store in person to order the pizza, but he wanted to hide the fact that he was alone when the pizza came.
Which makes you wonder, why didn't he just order and wait for the pizza and take it home himself if he did that?
Right.
Now, as much as we mock it, I still love the movie. I still enjoy it. But yeah, there's a few plot holes big enough to maybe drive a tank through.
Oh, no, I'm not making fun of it at all. I love the movie. It's just fun to point out things that are valid in movies, which are not valid in real life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's, and it's good that it is weird that he went to church when he knows this is all coming, right?
Right.
I guess maybe.
Well, as we'll see, he's going to set up his house. Again, I'm getting ahead of ourselves. He's going to set up the house, and then with 5 minutes to 9, he's going to make mac and cheese and sit down right at 9.
Right.
Perfect timing, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe he can reheat that mac and cheese.
I just got one thing to say. How does this old man not have old man ear hair? Right? Like, look, he's looking a little unkempt, right?
Sure.
That dude would have ear hair. It's not realistic.
Well, maybe he's estranged from his ear hair.
Maybe he's a what was that?
estranged from his ear hair.
Oh. Or maybe that's the one thing he has OCD about is his ear hair. Everything else can go to hell, but that he pays attention to.
Insulting the sidewalk, he's got OCD about that fucking sidewalk.
Yeah, doesn't want anyone to
It's true. There's a Band-Aid on his hand where he cut himself killing a cop earlier.
How
Kevin.
did he cut his hand? I watched it again today, and I still don't have any idea how he cut his hand.
I don't recall.
That much blood, and wasn't the blood on the palm?
Yeah, when he shows up at the pharmacy, he slams that palm down on the counter, and it's wrapped in a piece of cloth, and the blood is seeping through the cloth.
And the Band-Aid's on. He's got a tiny Band-Aid. Well, not tiny, but he's just got a Band-Aid, not a bandage, on the back of his hand.
Right.
Now he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's 8 o'clock. I have 60 minutes to fortify my house.
I got to get shit together." But at least he had a plan.
Right.
That's all that matters.
Because 5 years earlier, he watched Nightmare on Elm Street. He's like, I'm going to do what that Nancy chick did.
Yeah. Either that or MacGyver, one of the two he watched.
And here come the
lights. He
lights.
actually grows up to be MacGyver. I don't know. Maybe there's a prequel.
All the lights 1 minute from each other because everyone's clock is 1 minute off.
Right.
Yeah. So we're gonna get the main event here.
Here we are. My house. I have to defend it.
He's got this plan already written up and colored nicely to follow.
But again, he doesn't do any of this in the day leading up to it. He's doing it all exactly at the last minute.
Like it makes you wonder if he maybe didn't even think of it until the last minute. But then again, why was he running home?
Right.
To be there for the bad guys if he didn't already have this plan.
Now, how freaking cold is it out when the steps are going to freeze that quick?
What is that thing?
The thing you took out?
What is it?
That's how you used to start charcoal barbecues back in the day.
And for the record, I will say that tar has to be heated before you spread it on something. You can't just bring it out of a can and smear it.
Yeah, it's not quite that pliable right away.
Well, maybe he threw it on the stove.
At room temperature.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the purpose of it, right?
Right.
It's supposed to be able to keep things binded together at normal temperatures.
I do have something I want to bitch about with the ornaments on the ground, but I'll wait till it happens.
I thought it was funny that the tarantula just walked by as he was getting up and walking away, and like he didn't even notice it.
It's kind of the tarantula's movie, if you think about it.
Yeah.
He's like
he saves the day.
Yeah, he's finally freed, and he gets full run of the house.
He's like the R2-D2 C-3PO of this movie.
Yeah.
How R2 and C-3PO, they just keep coming through the world in the background until they have a big moment where they get to help save the day.
Right.
And it also 20th Century Fox movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So they wanted to have that tie-in.
The tarantula's like the Greek chorus.
Yeah.
Now here he is eating the fucking mac and cheese. It's 8:58.
And it's still smoking hot. Like, he just took it off the stove, right?
Yeah.
Right then.
It's literally 9 o'clock as he digs it up. Oh, shit. It's 9 o'clock exactly.
If only it had been 2 minutes earlier.
If only I had been doing this shit all day, I would have to sit down and eat my fucking mac and cheese.
Right. Now they pissed him off because they're interrupting his dinner.
Right.
And here he is with a gun again.
Yeah.
Making people in 2018 want to end the world over it.
Although, good, he's going to defend his home.
Yep. As he should.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be mandated by a politician to pee himself instead of actually defending himself.
Now, I also will point out he has no way right now of aiming, and yet he manages to get right at Joe Pesci's balls. You can see his line of sight is the door.
Yeah. Well, just a lucky guess, again. He makes a lot of those.
Oh, go get that kid. Get that kid. Just shot me in the balls. Go get that kid.
And I like that at no point do these criminals ever think of like covering their faces when they're breaking into houses.
I know they're breaking in. That's why I said earlier, like, why not?
They know there's a kid in there, so are they going to kill the kid?
Was that the plan all along? I guess. I don't know.
Like, these guys don't seem bloodthirsty, but they're cool with leaving a witness.
Right. Now, I know they didn't say they want to kill him until after he's kicked their ass several times, but yeah, it seems like they would know that they're going to show their faces to him that they're going to get caught, or they're planning on icing him, or icing. Go figure. He just slipped on the ice when I said that.
I've had this happen too many times.
Dummy behind him does the same thing. Oh, and here he is laying on the ground. Should have his head cracked open right now, but he doesn't yet.
One of the drunkest times I ever was. There's a long stairway to the bathroom in the basement of this bar.
Yeah,
and it seemed like 2 stories. This stairway. There's someone at the bottom of the stairs waiting to come up. I touch the first step, and I don't touch a step until the bottom. I'm going straight down. But I was so drunk and pliable that as I hit the bottom, I just started striding.
Wow.
I'm cool. I meant to do that. You're right.
Just wanted to get down there quickly. That's all.
I'm surprised I didn't kill myself or the person at the bottom.
All right, he's trying to break in with a pry bar to open the door. Let's see.
It's some kind of strong basement door.
I know. Oh, it was unlocked the whole time. Nothing off about that. Just having the door unlocked when the kid's in there waiting for you.
Kids are stupid, right? That's
right. That explains it. That's why
that door, though, is so sturdy that the door could have probably kept him out longer than all this other shit.
That's true. Could have. This proves that Kevin is bloodthirsty, and he's not going to be satisfied until he hurts people. Oh, there's the first one.
Look, if you messed with my dinner, I'd cut you too.
Yeah. Especially macaroni and cheese. You don't get in a man's way when he's eating mac and cheese.
At least a hip flat.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to be working there, Mr. Pesci.
Woke up from getting knocked the fuck out. He's got a concussion right now.
No kidding.
He should be in concussion protocol. He should be out of the game.
He doesn't look at the doorknob, which is glowing. Yeah. He's busy staring at the wreath or something, I guess.
Like Belloc in Raiders of the Lost Ark. No, not Belloc. Who was the guy that tried? Yeah, that's it. He's now got the
mark of McAllister.
Yeah.
Oh, that the shoes are stuck. What's the deal with that? Is there glue or
tar?
There's tar.
Oh,
tar on the stairs earlier.
And then he put a nail.
Yeah.
Right.
Here it goes. Yeah. Here's the nail. If we're synced up properly, yeah. He's waddling back to the door again. Is he going to try and go through the dog door? I've never understood those dog doors, or pet doors, whatever you want to call them. It seems like it would just let not only all kinds of creatures in and out, but you're letting the heat out or the cool air out as well.
Speaking of heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, this kid is resourceful. He knows.
Where do you get the blowtorch?
It's got to be a crime boss. He keeps that there to torture people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the size of the house. They probably have one of everything you could ever want somewhere in there.
Yeah. He's got an arsenal.
Yeah, in that basement.
He falls down again. Goes out the door.
Yeah. I love his new hairdo. Yeah. There, the trash can's back up in its right place again.
Right.
The window just happens to be open. I'm sure there's nothing bad on the other side of that for you. Go ahead. Go jump right in there.
Now, here's where I'm going to nitpick. This trap with the ornaments is only good if Kevin knows that the very guy who tried the basement first and lost his shoes would then give up on the basement and try the window.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the window part is easily explainable. He's purposely opening the door or window at the time that he wants them to come in. Like he had the basement door unlocked, then he opened the window. So
right.
I guess that part makes sense, but you're right about the rest of it. Like he just happens to know that would happen.
There's nothing if the guy coming through the window has boots on.
Right. Yeah.
Although
totally useless.
Although the noise might let him know he's coming. Maybe it was for that purpose.
Maybe.
I don't know. And if any of us have done that, I have. It stepped on a Christmas ornament. That shit hurts.
I bet.
Watch it.
Yeah. I've done worse than that. I'm sure everybody here has done this at some time. I've run my foot into like a wooden chair while walking through my house. And except I think I got it worse than normally happens. It like swelled up and was pointing the wrong way for a half hour or so. The toe, I mean. Yeah. Okay.
Here we go. We're about to ramp up.
This should kill anybody, but it won't. Yeah.
This right here is a death blow.
Yeah. Full paint can to the head. And
well, maybe not full. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the saving grace.
What's happening here?
I don't know. I thought they were kind of falling in love with each other for a minute there.
Go in for the tongue.
Yeah.
Come on. He's worried about his gold tooth. Dude, you look at your fucking head.
So here, as we can see, the phones are clearly operational.
Right.
So the parents attempted to call him one time and then gave up.
That's it.
Scrap that idea.
Fuck.
Call once, no answer. Guess he's dead.
I tried.
Yeah, that's all that counts. My obligation is done. Oh, there's a tarantula coming to save the day.
Yep. It's
R2-D2 bumbling onto the scene.
Yep. Gonna give him a little laser jolt.
Yep.
And then we're God.
Oh.
Touching a tarantula.
Yeah. And he leaves his mouth open, of course. That's good.
Ugh.
And the important thing, I don't know if there's a name for that type of character. The important thing about that, whether it's, just the tarantula bumbling around or, a droid from the future or from a long, long time ago, the R2-D2 C3PO thing, that they have to seem just like completely non-threatening to all sides at all times. So they never get like shot and blown up by the enemy, but then they just happen to be the one who shows up to do something that saves the day at the end.
Now this part is the crazy part. Not this, but I mean, like he's set up the zip line.
Oh, right. Crowbar to the head. That's good. See, they're actually doing more damage to each other.
It's so great.
I like that his hat is basically melded to his head now. Now here's the zip line that he so swiftly set up at some point. Or maybe that was already there. Who knows?
No, they show him.
It.
Oh, okay.
He's going over to the tree house. So.
Yeah. I just figured it might have already been there because of the tree house, but no. They showed him setting it up, obviously. I was wrong.
Now, these parents are irresponsible. It's quite possible they allowed a zip line.
That's true.
An amateur zip line.
Yeah.
From their attic to the treehouse.
Right.
Because, you know, hey, if we lose a kid, we lose a kid.
Right. Or they just don't even pay attention and wouldn't notice.
Yeah. Where are the kids? Oh, they're dangling from the zip line. Oh, look, the zip line's falling. Maybe we should save them. Nah.
Why on earth wouldn't you just run to the base of the tree?
Right.
Why would you ever do this?
Well, because you're stupid, I guess. So you somehow think it'll be quicker.
And after, I mean, this is like the classic horror movie trope, like why Laurie Strode would put down the knife.
Right.
You're right. Like you got the shit kicked out of you already. So you're going to trust the zip line?
Yeah.
That the kid just went across?
Right.
I mean, at this point, you kind of deserve what you get.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one of my favorite parts of all horror movies, where the person just drops the weapon to try to leave, because if they kept the weapon, the killer wouldn't be able to almost kill them again afterward.
Right.
Right.
Now, the old man has been next door watching all this shit for the last 45 minutes.
You think, right? Like, didn't he say he was going home?
Yeah.
Well, we're assuming he's watching, but you know.
Well, he's watching enough to show up in the neighbor's house at exactly the right time.
Yeah.
That's true.
I just wanted to see how you were doing. That's all. I want to see you fuck him up.
Yeah. I just came to watch.
It's because he believed in Kevin. He knew that Kevin could do this.
Damn it, neighbor. Why didn't you help me earlier? He's like, I knew you didn't need my help, son.
You got
so what's
this.
Kevin's plan here? Hey guys, I'm going to call the cops. So he's clearly luring them.
Yeah.
He hasn't had any opportunity to set up anything in the neighbor's house.
Well, I think what he did, he called the cops earlier.
Oh,
And
so now
I think he reported them as robbing this house.
Okay.
So the cops are supposed to be coming here. Now, I want to point out, it's been, 20 minutes, 15 minutes? These cops are not very responsive.
But you know what? You did just close a loop for me, because I always wondered why, when he calls the cops, he doesn't give the name McAllister. He gives the name Morgan. This is probably the Morgan's house.
Yeah.
Here's the old man with the snow shovel. I figured now's a good time to save your life after letting you fend for yourself for most of the evening.
Yeah.
Now,
now's a good time to save your life because we're nearing the 90-minute point.
And apparently, Joe Pesci actually left a scar on Macaulay Culkin biting his finger.
Oh, really?
In real life, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know how. I mean, it didn't. The stunt, the moment didn't require an actual bite. Was he just, method acting?
Yeah.
But the cops finally show up. I mean, Kevin's
Right.
already left, and this is why you cannot trust the police to protect you.
Right. This is why you need a neighbor with a shovel.
Yeah, because the police should have already been there. They reported it. So.
Right. Yeah. Didn't he tell them the time that they would be there too?
No, he said they're there right now.
Oh, okay.
Like somebody is robbing X house.
But he wasn't calling from their house. It's the same situation you ran into.
They probably said, "Nah, we'll wait a while. We'll see if they actually call.
Maybe it'll solve itself."
Yeah.
It'll all sort itself out.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci's mad.
Well, he's supposed to put out a hit on that house and didn't get it done.
Yeah. Now he knows their boss is going to be mad at them.
The rival mob boss.
Yeah.
Because it's like Tony Soprano. Tony didn't live in a mafia compound. He lived in a regular house in a regular neighborhood.
Right.
Got all this presents set up. Did he wrap them himself? Like, does he know what's everyone's getting?
In between fortifying his house,
Yeah.
He went and wrapped all the presents.
Yeah.
Now, this scene always felt tacked on to me because the climax is over. The burglars have been caught. All that's left is for mom to walk in the front door. What in the fuck is the point of this scene of John Candy talking about how his son got traumatized in a morgue?
Right,
Yes.
right.
Now,
I think
they
it's just
probably
added
should have,
comedy.
in the editing, they probably should have put this a little bit earlier.
Right.
Yeah, before the end happened. Before the climax happened.
It's not a bad scene. It's a funny scene. It's very darkly funny, which it's kind of a weird scene for this movie, but put it before the climax.
Right.
Now,
it would make more sense there.
These people have worked before previously on SCTV. They worked together way back when.
These people... Oh, both of them.
And John Candy.
Okay. I didn't know that she was on SCTV.
And so that's where their connection is prior to this.
Okay.
Great to see them work together again. Gus.
Yeah. Okay,
John
back to
Candy's great.
the mob compound here. Okay. Kevin waking up in his commandeered bedroom.
It snowed
It's
overnight.
very edible. He's in his father's bed.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's now become the man of the house.
Yep.
Boom.
He's assumed the adult role. So now he's the mob boss.
Yeah.
Lots of snow for Christmas. It's all we wanted. When we started out, we wanted a white Christmas. It looks like that's what we're getting.
He's thinking he's getting his wish for them to be back now, and it's not happening.
Because life hates you, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, he literally thinks his wishing is what caused this to happen.
You're gonna make me cry. Not everybody hates me.
Get off the computer, Kevin.
Shout out to Ian.
Yeah.
I hope you're having a good night, buddy.
Right. Hope
Get
you're
out there
enjoying.
and shovel, kid.
Hope Ian's still enjoying the. What do we get him? Some sort of video game console or something
Yeah.
for Christmas?
Like a Atari or a Nintendo or something.
Yeah.
Now that mom cares. She went in the back of a rent-a-truck.
Yeah.
With a bunch of burly polka dudes that are on
Yeah.
Really sweaty guys.
Right. Now, couldn't John Candy's character be seen as playing Al Yankovic's dad, the Polka King?
That'd be a great connection.
Yeah. Oh, his mom showed up finally.
Party's over, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starts kicking his ass.
You got a lot to answer for, kid.
Yeah.
Why didn't you try calling me even just once?
And I just realized, did he clean the house after the bloodbath?
Yes.
I guess so.
Well, leave most of it.
Yeah, he cleans the whole house of the tar and the heated up doorknob and the paint swinging, but he leaves Buzz's room a wreck.
Yeah. He
doesn't care about Buzz.
He leaves the Spaz's room alone.
Yeah.
Because he knows the kid's gonna Buzz is gonna lose it.
Right.
So he decides to leave that room wrecked.
There were paint cans swinging from the ceiling. There's tar over the steps. And he dropped that shit down, but left Buzz's room fucked up.
Right.
Because fuck Buzz.
He does industrial level cleaning that you normally need to hire a company to do, but then doesn't pick up the shit on the floor in Buzz's room.
Right.
And this is often the case. You know, you try everything possible to get home, and it turns out that everyone could have just gotten there at the same time.
Right.
We've all had our travel calamities, so we know what it's like.
Right.
For a split second, Buzz is going to give him some love. Just wait, Buzz. You ain't seen shit yet.
Yeah.
And once again, Catherine O'Hara ran in, clung to Kevin like life itself, and John Hurd's like, "Hey, you're all right, buddy. Cool."
He's like,
Hey, you survived. Good for you, buddy.
He's like, "Hey, what's your name again?"
I honestly never expected to see you again.
I honestly was hoping to never see you again.
Apparently.
And also, the aunt and the uncle and the cousins aren't here. Did they drop them off?
They took time to do that.
Like, look, I've had enough of your shit.
Yeah.
Just go away.
Even when the father like was walking away from Kevin, he still didn't hug him or anything. He just kind of tapped him on the shoulder and kept walking.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, guess I'm glad you're alive. Okay, see you later.
The father is more interested in this gold tooth than in his son being alive.
Yeah. Like, that's more important. Oh, and the family reunion of the neighbors happens right in front of their window. Yeah. Outside.
Well, it is a neighbor. As much as he doesn't give a shit whether there's violence in his neighborhood. Right. You know, he seems to be outside all the time, but all the
down snow right now, and they're doing their reunification outside.
Right. Yeah. Right. Instead of the family coming up to his door and coming inside to do that.
Well, he's not welcome. No. But I love the dude salting the neighborhood. Never noticed that 9 houses in the neighborhood got robbed.
Right.
Like he's outside all the time.
Yeah. He's always there, just never sees anything.
Yeah.
Well, those two apparent parents right there in the back were barely touching each other while they're supposed to be like arm in arm. Well, let's see.
Oh, Buzz just realized what happened in his room.
Absolutely.
And we bring him to a close.
Yeah, no, we're in the credits. So I guess that's the end of our what do you call that thing again? Commentary track.
Commentary.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun. I enjoy. The movie's a lot of is a bundle of joy.
Yeah.
I mean, the sequel gets even more cartoonish and great, but But this is a really fun.
People that they remade shot for shot.
I know. We're gonna change it up. We're gonna get wild. Instead of an old man, they're gonna be an old lady.
Yeah. Instead of Chicago, it's New York. Totally different place.
Wiley, put that in the title so everyone knows that it's a different movie.
There's a dude named Wiley Stateman and Gary Wrecker Hecker. I'm reading the credits. So I'm like, there's some great names in here.
Nice names, guys.
Wiley Stateman.
You know, it's actually teasing me in the corner of my screen. It's showing Home Alone 2 in case I feel like watching that immediately as well.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll do that one later.
I mean, this is a lot of fun. It's always good talking to you,
definitely.
We'll
absolutely.
Okay. Definitely. We will we'll call this an end to our very first I don't know what we're going to call it yet. We don't really have a name for it yet. We'll come up with one though, but
fledgling venture.
Yeah, a little venture. And by the way, I need to point out, I should have done this at the beginning, but I'm stupid. But I was going to point out that Oakley is the one who actually gave the idea of doing it as a commentary track, which makes this pretty original, I think. I don't think anybody has ever done a live stream comedy or a live stream commentary track before. So you're an innovator, Oakley.
Some fun stuff.
Yeah.
We're getting to the music, so it's almost over.
Yeah.
We made it through and we had some fun, and as always, enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
Gets me in a Christmas spirit. Although it's not Christmas season yet, you guys still have Thanksgiving.
That's true. Although to me, Thanksgiving is a lot of other holidays are kind of an entire season. Like I consider Halloween an entire season, and I consider Christmas to be an entire season. But Thanksgiving to me is just the one day in between those two seasons.
I'll go along with that.
Yeah. All right. Anything to say on your way out, Nehring?
I don't think so.
Me either. So I guess I'll just say thank you to anybody who actually took the time to stick through our entire commentary track, and we will see you again soon.
And until next time, keep the change, you filthy animal.
All right, and good night.